You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio.
Welcome to episode 13 of 808s and Joysticks, the show that bridges the gap between games, music, seasoned with pop culture. I'm Tyrell, and joining me today, as always, is Tom.
So, once again, it's been a busy few weeks in the games industry. Music and films and TV died down a little bit, but we're going to jump straight in and talk about Amazon and their attempt at trying to get in on the game market. Now, news coming out this week that former 2K Games president Christoph Hartmann has joined Amazon Game Studios, and he will be in charge of both development and marketing operations for teams based in Seattle, Orange County, and San Diego. It's quite important, like a good acquisition for Amazon here to get into games.
Yeah. Well, he's the founder of 2K. I didn't even know that. He's founder and the president of 2K. So for someone like that, for them to get him, it's pretty important. Even though he's as a vice president, that's still very important, though.
Well, he spent 20 years at 2K, and obviously, like during that time, they had franchises like Borderlands, NBA 2K, Civilization, BioShock. Like Take-Two also owns Rockstar.
Yeah, so but he's got those connects there as well. Like, I'm pretty sure if he would try and get some people to come over from his side. Because that's what usually happens when like a president leaves. He'd take like capable and competent people with them, to this new studio. Like, okay, we're going to give you this amount of money. Like, you go over here, make some new groundbreaking franchises underneath me. You already know me. Like, you know how I rock. And then that's probably part of the deal. Like, we'll probably start seeing 2K people go over to Amazon.
We'll see. I think it's a little bit more varied. Like, I don't think that. I still think they could go out and find people that have the same amount of talent elsewhere. But I do. Some people might move over, but it's just good in general that there's someone else getting in on it, because we have seen recently with EA, 2K, a lot of those publishers, they want to just get like a monopoly on certain genres and just tie it down to them. And that doesn't allow for much creativity in the market. Yeah. Whereas now, if we've got like Google and Amazon coming in, and we have China getting in on the act as well, we've got loads of different companies coming back in then, and we've seen like resurgence of indie in recent years. If we're starting to see more stuff like that, the creativity comes back in. It puts more pressure on the bigger companies to actually pull their finger out and do something. Yeah, exactly. But
you can't really say that, like, even though Amazon is not established as they could be, Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world at the moment. Like, they have all the power, money, and resources to do something, but I just don't see anything from Amazon, like, games-wise. Like, they've had this studio for quite a while now. I just want to know what are they exactly doing there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm gonna like try and like search up like what Amazon have done and who do they have there? Do you know anyone, like, Tom? Like, anyone notable that's been there, or like they have hired anyone?
They have a blog on AmazonGames.com, but there's not been too much. I think they're keeping a lot of stuff quite low down at the moment, but they're still hiring, and they have been working on games. I think there's 2 games they've been working on apparently, New World and Crucible. Whether they are placeholder names or not, who knows? Mm-hmm. But they have also announced that within the same blog post that there's going to be a few surprises that they'll be sharing in the months ahead. Mm-hmm. So it does look like they're building up to actually doing something now.
Okay, cool. Well, I have done just a little bit of research as well, and it looks like they're really trying to tackle the online games. because they have Twitch already in their grasp. I think what they're trying to do is trying to like connect.
We're forgetting also Amazon also owns a cloud service.
Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to connect Twitch.
They have unlimited resources.
That's what I'm saying. They're quite powerful. They're actually in a great position to create a great game studio. I'm just saying that, like, I just hope they don't. It's hard to start off as like a new company to create new franchises when you've got the big. I want to say the big three in it, which is EA, Activision, Blizzard, and who would you say is the third? Sony, maybe Microsoft. They're not really developers, but I'm talking like standalone developers. Yeah, actually, I'll put Take-Two in there. Take-Two is definitely a big three because of who they own, which is Rockstar and 2K and Red Dead's probably going to be the biggest game this year. Like, there's no doubts about it. The hype around that game is incredible. But yeah, because they have Twitch, they could integrate Twitch seamlessly into their games, which would be great for streamers. And it would be great for a way for people to stream, like, just stream their games, like stream them playing. Like, I think it's all about trying to make the everyday average Joe, normal consumers able to stream the games that they're playing, because it could be quite difficult. As we've known, we've started streaming now. Like, you had to buy a capture card and things like that. Like, but it took quite a while for you to configure everything out, though, didn't it? Like, what if they got it? So
it's still not done.
If you got it, so there's like a middleman, and the game is already integrated with Twitch onto the game with the system, and it works hand in hand. That could be a great thing for streamers.
The trouble is, you can sort of do that.
Yeah, I know you can, but it's not.
I feel like
great though.
What you're saying is that you could easily integrate stuff like that into the game, but the thing, like, we've seen the resurgence of resurgence of battle royale. We've seen battle royale games becoming popular.
Yeah, the rise of.
But there's a lot of games before that were trying to get in on like a game show type of vibe with like customer interaction, or say customer interaction, viewer interaction.
Yeah.
And we've seen things like Twitch plays Pokemon before.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to take this online game, design it around cloud software they own, a cloud platform they own, and around a streaming service they own, and then embed that to have viewer interaction that actually affects gameplay whilst you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that is a thing and they can incorporate something like that, it would be pretty amazing, and it could definitely lead for it would definitely build a massive online community, because people would have to watch to play we've seen people try this before, but obviously they've not. It's hard to do it based on people just joining a game through like a phone and being able to vote or something, compared to just like basing it on what Twitch says.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Pokemon and it does work, but that was like a bit of a mess. But the thing is, it's not built with that in mind. Like, it's just based on that, and that was a thing that someone decided.
Even with saying that, how like Twitch's Pokemon it was a bit of a mess. I understand how the concept of it does work, as in like it gets a certain amount of inputs and it just goes with sometimes it will go with the most put input, and then sometimes it'd be anarchy, which would be meaning that, like, I think it means it throws out a random input, but then sometimes it'd be democracy, where like it will go with the majority. Like, but if it can't come up with the majority, it would just say anarchy and input overruled or whatever. Like, I guess if they can create games that are perfectly set for things like that and have a certain set of rules and limitations and becomes more refined, which means ergo trying to hire the people who create these Twitch plays things and actually bring them to the studios and, give them some jobs, let's just see how they work, see what they could actually create from scratch rather than using an already established game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, my idea would be a battle royale type game with AI integrated in, so we have like maybe something based on battle royale or the Hunger Games in a way. So you have different subsections, that are split off, and you have monsters in there or enemies in there that are trying to kill you. And then there's say 50 people in each subsection, 500 in the overall game, and you have to decide whether you work together or kill each other to try and defeat the monsters to get to the next section. And then things like the chat, you incorporate that in, and that can decide whether like you get a weapon drop or how many enemies appear in that section, how hard the difficulty is, you know, just certain things like maybe what part of the like if it's a maze area, like what part of the maze opens up. Does the gate open up to let an enemy out, or does it stay closed? You know, and then you have to have a relationship with your viewers to have things like that decided.
Yeah.
And, you know, if the viewers are playing with you in the game as well, like, then it brings in like a nice element of community to a game, but also brings in that genre of like fight or flight with battle royale. You either fight against each other or you sort of go your own and run away from things and try and escape.
It's actually a pretty sick idea, to be honest. Let's just
let's stop
talking about it before someone actually takes it. Like,
it'd take a lot of work and a lot of things to actually make it work. I do think if anyone was to do it, it'd be a massive studio or someone with the capability to do it, and Amazon...
No, it would
definitely do that.
It would
and with the hype around Battle Royale at the moment, they could definitely jump on it.
What they would need for that is someone who's strong in creating those Battle Royale games or has a knowledge. See, now this is with the time for the resurgence of, you know, Cliffy B, if you really wanted to. Because that last game that he made, before he went in a meltdown and said he's leaving the industry once again, wasn't that bad and was pretty good for a game that was only made like I think literally a few months after Lawbreakers crashed and died. So you get Clippy B on board, you hire the guys behind Twitch Plays Pokemon and stuff like that, get their insight and their knowledge, even as advisors, because they're probably not proper developers, but they know they've got good programming abilities. So get them on as advisors, and you know, we'll see where we go from there. You know, try and create a solid foundation for the gameplay. Let's get some good concept art. Let's get some good designers, something fresh and new. I mean, the idea would work, but we'll see how it goes, because Amazon yet to really produce like a game that's going to be released on all the platforms. Like, we need to see an Amazon studios game actually on like PlayStation and Xbox and things like that.
Yeah,
until we can.
I do believe they will be bringing stuff to console.
I can't say until we respect them, but like I feel like you need to do that in order for people to start taking them more serious. But I feel like they are going in our direction. Like, we've just hired the 2K president and founder. Like, you literally took the founder of his company away, so they must be doing something great over there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of the developers have like great experience as well, so they have experience there already.
Yeah.
They are creating something for console, and it will be, I believe it will be good. Like, they have these people who have worked on, they've got it on their website, but these people have worked on League, Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, Portal, Thief,
all sorts of
System Shock, Age of Empires, Dawn of War, Halo, The Last of Us.
They've got quite a they've got quite a crazy, you know, roster over there still at Amazon. So it might be a bit wild still. So hopefully we see something. Hopefully we do. Okay. Well, moving on from there anyway, we hope all the best for Amazon, because, you know, they're just like Disney and Apple. They're just going to take over the world eventually. So let's just accept it. And this is the big one. One of the big boys has been shut down. IGN is in some big mess right now because one ex-respected editor, he got exposed for a plagiarized review originally, and then come to find out, damn near all of his reviews were plagiarized in some way from somebody else, and they've had to take down dozens of reviews. And I don't think it even stops there, because now they're going to have to look into all the editors' posts and see, you know, if everyone's been plagiarizing. Do you know what I'm saying?
I've been following this quite closely. He's not. So basically, he was a YouTuber like a year ago, and that's where they basically found him from doing reviews there and offered him a role, I think. That's like a simplified version, but something along those lines. He then came out and released an apology video this week, and within 2 hours took it down because he never actually apologized in the video, and everyone slated him for it, and he monetized the video. All his ex-colleagues at IGN tweeted and basically told one of them, who used to work very close with him in the Nintendo team, told him to demonetize the video. Well, DF and monetize the video. And basically all of the colleagues that have come out they used to work with have said that he's not understood what he's done. Plagiarism isn't something to be like looked upon lightly, like it is just taking other people's work. And I don't think anyone is actually giving him any sympathy for it. And he's digging himself a really big hole. I watched Young Ye's video on it as well, and he basically
I haven't watched Young's video yet, but I did definitely see it come into my inbox, my sub box, and I was like, yeah, definitely need to see what Young's saying on that, because him and I'm gonna watch Jim Sterling's video on it as well, because he was talking about it too. They've got pretty good views on things like that. If you guys want to check out like good factual based videos on like things that are going on, like seedy stuff that's going on like surrounding the game industry, definitely check out Young Year and Jim Sterling. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of him as well, but Young is recently, he's only just started to get like up in the YouTube ranks in terms of like that kind of area. Yeah, well, where does gaming journalism go from here, Tom? Because we're technically in that field now, aren't we? So
yeah, I think it is a don't want to say a one-off, but I think for someone to do it on this higher scale, it is a one-off. People that are passionate about it, and you know, if people want to speak about things like this and give their own reviews, he said that in his video, he said that his review process is looking at other reviews and then doing a review based on that, but that's not reviewing it. Like that's taking other opinions into account and then building an opinion based on that. So that's not your review like entirely, it's other people's reviews into your review. And it's a risky subject to speak about, saying that like that isn't a thing, but if you want to review something, then it wholeheartedly has to be from your experience of playing a game. But I mean, the fact that even his resume or his LinkedIn resume is copied from a job template website, like word for word, shows you that this guy, like, obviously, you know, he has talent, but he doesn't decide to use it correctly and is a bit lazy in some areas. You know, yeah. And unfortunately that catches up with you sometimes. And the thing that he's done badly here is, yeah, he's plagiarized, and okay, like, everyone's angry at him for that. But when he releases a video apologizing and he's got a big online presence,
yeah,
say sorry. Don't try and play it off as if you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, you're going to have people on your back, and he's moaning about that anyway. You should know that people are going to jump on your back for not saying sorry. We've seen it time and time again with people on YouTube. We've seen it with Logan Paul, Jake Paul. We've seen it with people like Leafy, etc. Like, people jump on their back for saying things, and even PewDiePie, like the biggest YouTuber, he still didn't get away from it. People are going on about Ninja now, saying that he didn't want to stream with women, and people are jumping on his back about it even after he explained his decision. Like, you can't win in this day and age. You just have to say sorry and
exactly.
try and build yourself from there.
You have to say sorry. You have to say sorry. Let's just forget about the drawn out conclusions. Forget about trying to explain yourself. The whole Ninja thing about not streaming with women, that's just, we're not even talking about that because we don't go into drama and shit. And to be honest, we hate Fortnite. I'm going to say it, we hate Fortnite. The podcast hates Fortnite. We don't like it. We don't know anything surrounding it. We cover it, but that's all we do because we have to. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't want to, but we have to. Ninja,
we played like 4 games when it came out.
Yeah, but that was before the hype as well. We found it okay, but like, we was like, this ain't nothing to go home about though. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, Fortnite. Like, I'm gonna come on and fucking play Fortnite. I'm not doing that shit. Like, the whole Ninja thing is dumb. He's dumb. If he thinks that you can't stream with women because of his wife, she's insecure, so it's whatever, innit? Like, that's all I've got to say on that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, big statements, but
the whole IGN thing, yeah, about pulling like ex-editors posts after dozens more plagiarisms accused his service. Like, I really did expect. Wow, even his LinkedIn resume is copied from a job template website. He's literally finessed. He's literally finessed like his way into all the jobs, didn't he? Really?
Yeah, but the thing is, it catches up with you at some point.
Yeah, that's why you should just never lie. Don't lie on shit like that.
You either know what you're doing, or you play it as if you know what you're doing for so long until someone else just goes, well, I mean, that's like BS. I can see that from a mile off. And then, I mean, you may have got away with it years ago. With the internet now and social media, you can't escape that. Like, especially if you're working in an industry that's surrounded by that.
Also, I'm kind of a little bit upset that, IGN has IGN come out and said anything? Like,
yeah, no, IGN have handled it really well, actually. IGN have apologized. They took it down. They've got another one of their editors to actually do a review of the game. They apologized to the creator that he copied from. They haven't contacted him directly, but they have apologized to any parties that were affected.
They probably will, because if that was me, you're IGN, I'm definitely suing you. I'm getting money from this because you can't take my review, make money off it. You're a conglomerate, like, you're a news game conglomerate. You own so many things. You own Humble, for God's sake.
They have, took it down, and obviously, like, people have done more research and they've taken them things down without like question, to be honest. And I think they've handled, like, if you look at how other people have handled stuff in the modern day and age with stuff like that, people take ages to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
IGN did react straight away.
Yeah, but they
looked into it, quickly responded.
They have to, especially on like websites and things like that. IGN, I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of controversy around them, but now IGN themselves need to look into, well, what are the managers doing there? What's the head of editing doing? And why are they not vetting reviews before they go on the website? Why are they not doing checks? Just like how whenever we hand in assignments, it goes through a plagiarism checker, and I don't understand why they wouldn't think that kind of stuff still can't, you still can't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? You need to be checking over things.
There's a difference though, isn't there? Like, if you hire someone to work in a company, you, especially at that level, like, you trust them.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, things, this might cause a change up for a lot of things, and things might change now, but it'll change for the better. But the thing is, like, it has broken down that trust barrier again because of someone's actions.
Exactly.
That could have been prevented.
Yeah, exactly. And they just keep finding more and more reviews, and now they're going to have to look into everyone's reviews, you know what I'm saying? And then they're going to find out other people who have done it. And then IGN is going to end up having a hole inside of their website where they now have to redo all these game reviews, which is not easy to do. Like, because there'll be certain games that come from certain time periods, which I wouldn't say not necessarily you can't access them now, but like, you know,
well, he's only worked there for
he only worked there since
year.
last October, so it's okay. But I'm talking about other games. Like, if we've now started launching an investigation into other reviews, and people start finding other reviews have been heavily plagiarized as well, and they're games that nobody plays anymore, or they're from another generation, it's going to be hard to go back and then give an honest review on those games, because you're not going to be seeing them through the generation that it was originally released. You're going to be looking at it like it's a re-release or something, or we're doing a re-review. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be having the original feeling of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, we'll just have to see in it. We would just have to see.
They probably just won't re-review the games unless they're major game. I don't know. I think they might leave like a score up and just leave it at that. It depends. It's a lot of extra excess work that they maybe don't need to put on themselves as well.
Yeah.
But some lighter news.
Some much lighter news.
Yeah. You pointed this out earlier in the week, but THQ Nordic have acquired the Time Splitters and Second Sight licenses.
Yeah, they have via their parent company, which is Koch Media. That's the parent company, which also own the publisher Deep Silver. So it's a pretty it's a pretty exciting time for Time Splitters, as I think that this means definitely that games are going to be on the works. And Time Splitters was a groundbreaking first-person shooter that definitely inspired Overwatch. All of those kind of games there, like those class-based shooter games. Yeah, Time Splitters was definitely one of the pioneers. And yeah, I can't wait to see it. I want a Time Splitters trilogy, HD, remaster, anything, you know, Time Splitters new, Time Splitters Battle Royale. Now this is the perfect game for a Battle Royale, if we're really talking about it. Oh, these bullshit games like that are right at the moment. Time Splitters is the perfect game for that. I can't wait. Bring back split screen, by the way. I don't know why they don't think that no one wants to play split screen anymore, but we have big enough TVs to play split screen now. Let's bring split screen back. That is all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think THQ are like a good studio to take forward Time Splitters?
Well, but THQ, yeah, the original THQ is got nothing to do with Nordic. Apparently Nordic is its own thing now. Like, but this is, you know, what it is. THQ Nordic is because THQ, the original one, closed out in 2013. But Nordic Games acquired the THQ trademark in 2014, therefore renaming themselves THQ Nordic. So technically it's okay. It's all good. Like, it's not the same THQ that we're really, you know, dealing with. So, also in February 2018, the company acquired Koch Media, which included Deep Silver, thus bringing several former THQ franchises such as Saint Row into their realm. Yeah. So, this THQ Nordic Games seems to be a pretty exciting game. It's got quite a few franchises under its belt now that it can deal with, and apparently Time Splitters it's going to be handled by THQ and potentially Crytek, but we all know that Crytek's in a bit of, you know, hot water at the moment, you know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to see how that goes. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. If Time Splitters in a Second Sight, it's going to be done by like Crytek. That's going to be crazy. Second Sight was also a really good game too. So I can't wait.
I don't know if it'll be done by Crytek, but what I wouldn't mind is
No, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be done. There's supposed to be Crytek's supposed to be handling time splitters in the second side. So that's a good and a bad thing, because we know Crytek can make good games and they've got good technology, but the engine is really shit and hard to use unless you are like the creator of the engine, like how they had at Crysis. They had everyone working on it who knows how to use the engine. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah,
what I wouldn't have minded is the Saints Row team working on something like this. I don't know, just like they're used to like that slight cartoonist goofy element, aren't they?
Yeah, like a kind of like a. I understand what you mean, but
they feel like the games of old, like Time Splitters feels like Saints Row would feel slightly similar to that in a way. Just like the goof, like not exactly the same, but just certain elements to it, like this nostalgia feel and stuff like that. Like they feel like they're built for that.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, but it's also going to be interesting to see what style they go with, because the last Time Splitters game was quite different to Time Splitters 1 and 2, as I feel like the last Time Splitters game went in a much more realistic I don't know, what would you say, a much more realistic vision? No, I wouldn't say vision. Well, we'll just say it went with a much more realistic style rather than the other games. And back then it was done by EA Games when they were good. So they already had like that technology to create kind of like a first-person shooter, because they were making like Medal of Honor games and things like that. So they literally just used what they had in Medal of Honor and just took Time Splitters.
Shout outs to Medal of Honor back in the day.
Medal of Honor was hard back in the day. Like, I can't believe they've not found a way how to like get into this new market. I'm actually quite surprised. Well, I just feel like COD just took them over. They couldn't adapt, could they? They
got Battlefield now, haven't they? That's DICE has sort of took over that area for them.
Yeah, it was weird though, because Medal of Honor was being done by EA still. So I think it was just kind of like wild how they had Battlefield and they had Medal of Honor going at the same time. It was quite odd, but yeah, I'm very interested in what is to come of this franchise now that they've been, taken over. Anyway, we're doing our usual thing where we're doing big discussions. We've got quite a few topics to pack into this episode. So Nintendo have been Nintendoing once again. They're just basically slapping lawsuits on everyone who has a ROM site. This means that not only Nintendo ROMs are going away, that means ROMs for many consoles are going away. And although I think it's fair and it's all, it seems to be all in the right of protecting the game creators and stuff like that, but legally, you're allowed to have a ROM if you have the original game. So you would never get in trouble by the law as long as you've got the original game. But I'm pretty sure 95% of people don't have the original game. Therefore, that's why they download the ROM version of it. Because they want to play a game that they never had a chance to play as a kid. But somebody has uploaded it on the internet for people to play. I
want to point out, Nintendo, if you're going to keep doing this, just release Virtual Console on your consoles. Stop pissing about, man.
They're not, exactly, Tom. They're not doing anything about it.
I know that they're taking this down because the NES games or whatever are coming to the Switch Online thing very soon, and I know that's the reason they're doing this. But if you really that bothered about stuff like this, make all those games available Virtual Console for purchase on any of your consoles. just do it. Like, you can't take this stuff away from people that is, you know, they talk about saving the game creators and whatever.
Yeah.
But they're the ones preventing people from playing what these people have put hours into making.
Yeah, exactly. It just bothers me when like a large company does this, where I feel like ROMs really doesn't even hurt game sales in a way, because when you think about it, ROMs are pretty much all really old games. Like, you can't get a ROM of a brand new game and it's going to run in your system flawlessly, because it just doesn't work that way. The way how consoles are built, they are built to play games in a certain way. Not many people have the hardware to play games flawlessly, like a PlayStation 3 game or a Switch game yet, or any of those kind of games. No one has figured out a way how to play PS4 games on their PC. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but nobody's buying like Super Mario Brothers on the DS still, like the original version. If you really think they're going to take that away because they're losing money on it, it's Nintendo, for God's sake. They don't lose money. They made the Wii U, for God's sake, and didn't care, and made the Switch 2 years later and scrapped the Wii U. Do you think they really care about money? No, they're just doing this because they have some big master plan where they're going to release all the games somehow, and it's just going to be a shambles. Like, we already know there's going to be an N64 Mini. They've already copyrighted it, and we already know there's supposed to be a GameCube Mini and a Wii Mini coming soon. Well, coming in the next couple years. So if that's really what they want to do, then fair enough. But it doesn't mean you have to shut down the biggest ROM site. What's people going to do now? Some of these games are like defunct. Like, you can't find a PSP game anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, where are you going to find a PSP UMD, Universal Media Disc? That fucking file type is gone. Like,
the same time, probably 80% of the games that are on this website, that are on these websites, or 90% of the games, won't make it onto those mini consoles.
Exactly.
And there's games like Earthbound, which was like Japanese exclusive or Asian exclusive, that still hasn't come over to like Europe or even America. I don't think. I think America got Earthbound 1, but that was Mother 2. But we never ever got Mother 1 or 3 or something weird anyway. They didn't release all the games, so we never got the full story in the West. So we didn't know what was going on. I don't think they're including them on things like the NES Mini and the SNES Mini, are they?
I think they put They put one game on it. Remember, it's like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, Mother's being released in the West for the first time on the NES. Like, yeah, but that's if you had a chance to get one of their limited fucking NES machines, which they only had 10 in rotation. This is bullshit, man. This is absolute bullshit, and I don't agree with it. I know what they're trying to do, but I just don't agree with it. I just don't think it's fair. There's people out there that can't afford to buy all these games, and they couldn't afford it back when they were kids, and they've finally got a chance to play some of these kind of games via ROMs. They're not making anyone lose money. These are games that are like made in like the fucking 80s. Like, I just don't understand, and I think it's really terrible. As well, emulation. Let's not forget, emulation has pushed and helped the game industry in a big way. Without emulation, things like speed running, all sorts of stuff like that, these little things that people make money off, they wouldn't be making money off. And best believe games studios make money off speed running. They sponsor these events and give games out, and it's free promo for them to speed run fucking GoldenEye still. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's really disgusting. And Nintendo have used a ROM of Super Mario Brothers on the NES. We've already covered that before in the past. So how are you going to be a hypocrite and shut down these websites when you've used ROMs in yourself because you didn't even have the original version of your own game? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, what I've worked out is that on the SNES Classic Mini, there are a few games that never actually got given a UK release that are on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I think Star Fox 2... Star Fox 2 was like the game that was on there. That's just not been released before, I don't think. Final Fantasy 3, Super Mario RPG, and Earthbound. But the Earthbound on there is the US Earthbound. So, again, like, you still can't get access to some of those games. Yeah, the first Mother 1, or even Mother 3, you can't get access to that on these consoles.
See, it's just... okay. That little thing was like, we're releasing Star Fox 2. It was trash. They released it, and the game was it was a mess. It was absolutely... We know why it wasn't released, because it was trash.
Yeah, but it was like their big selling point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It just... Yeah, I think it's like it's slightly relatable to things like people like having a go at Bethesda for including things like paid mods and stopping the modding community, and people being really uptight about not being able to mod games. Like,
yeah,
it is like that. Like you're not giving the community the chance to actually get creative as well and make these games into long lasting things.
Exactly. Without emulators and things like that and ROMs, there would be no Super Mario Maker. There wouldn't be, because Super Mario Maker was inspired by other people taking the Mario ROM, editing it in a way to create totally brand new levels and missions and, well, not missions, new enemy types. And that's the kind of basis that Nintendo used to create and sell a £60 game, which was essentially made by people who downloaded the ROM and edited it. So I just want to know what Nintendo's thought process this is and how they're going to really combat this, because they're looking real shitty right now, in my opinion. And I don't want that, because Nintendo are on the rise once again. So it's just a sad time. It just is sad. The game industry is a little bit sad at the moment. You know, it's hopefully Kojima's going to come and clear that up.
Well, we'll see. Apparently, anyway, there are leaks regarding Nintendo about a Pokemon Direct coming very soon. Amazon, being the
good old
great providers of the game community that they are.
Good old Amazon. If it's not Walmart, it's them.
Yeah, they have it leaked. Was it? It's 3 games, wasn't it?
Yeah. They're suggesting a 3DS Pokemon game, which hasn't actually been announced, but I think they got it wrong, because it says Switch Title 23, Switch Title 14, and Switch Title 30 just announced at the Nintendo Switch event. Box art coming soon, but there is no event that's happened yet. So, what do you think this means, Tom?
I have no idea. I cannot tell if it's true or not. I mean, it is on Amazon's website. Well, it was on Amazon's website.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on there anymore. They really need to start cracking down on like who they hire, because apparently these people don't get told that there's not been an event yet. But you know, if this isn't Let's Go, and it could not be, because we know that there's a Pokemon game coming out next year anyway. This meant to come out in May, which is going to be the 8th generation Pokemon game. So, I think 2 of those games are going to be, like, I don't know, Red and Blue or X and Y and whatever they call them next. I think that'll be the 2 different games for Gen 8. And then the next game, I'm not entirely sure what that could be. But it could be like a Pokemon Stadium. It could be something like Pokken 2.
Oh, yeah. I'm fucking up anyone who makes a Pokken 2. Nobody asked for that.
Their game wasn't that bad.
No, it's not bad, but come on now.
Good.
Pokken 2, Tom. No.
We'll see. I'm not entirely sure what it could be. There's no real actual stuff to it because it's just all rumors based on what we're saying. But there was obviously they released Ultra Sun and Moon last year.
Mm-hmm.
We just had announcements that Mega Evolutions are going to be in Let's Go as well, so we're getting more detail on that. It could be a remake of Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon coming to the console. But I think that's unlikely because I feel like they're just going to overload it with Pokemon at that point. I feel like it's going to be 2 new Gen 8 games and another game. Maybe even a virtual console game of the original Pokemon. But I'm 90% sure
I'm sick of these re-releases, Tom. They can't re-release the same game over and over. We need something new now.
Well, yeah, but they are going to release 2 new games.
Well, we've got Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, which is a slight rebranding of Yellow and Green, which is fair enough. But it looks cool though. I like the new system that they've implemented. You got the Pokemon following you around. They've implemented some modern themes into the old version of the game.
They got the new features such as the Mega Evolutions, which were never in original Pokemon
which were never
games.
in the OGs. That's true. They've definitely got quite a few modern takes on the game, which is what you said you wanted and what we discussed and predicted. We did say that they're going to make a Pokemon game with a modern update, but we didn't expect them to make 2 Pokemon games with modern updates and a brand new Generation 8 title, which is probably the gameplay is probably going to be very different to any other Pokemon game. The way how they're going on about it and how secretive they are, I think it's going to be very different to what we've seen from a Pokemon game. So I'm actually more I'm thinking about it, I'm rocking with your idea about it being more of like a Breath of the Wild type Pokemon game, like an open world type deal.
Well, the thing, this is what I don't understand, right? I don't think they're gonna go. Nintendo aren't known for going too much out their comfort zone for things like that.
No, they're not.
It also, their fans are very not on the fence, but very defensive about doing things like that.
They've been proved wrong because Pokemon Stadium is like a classic in Pokemon fans' eyes. So why wouldn't they? I mean, not Stadium, Coliseum. Is like a classic in fans' eyes, and I don't really understand why they wouldn't try and create something akin to that rather than going off and making the exact same game again, but just with a new generation. It's just something's just a little bit off where I feel like
I feel like Coliseum could be a thing that comes back.
I feel like Pokemon is one of those brands where they can take risks because the brand's so strong and there's so much other things and there's so many other games to play. Like, if you don't like this new style, you can always go and play Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's going to be something that they're going to continue. They're going to carry on and do Let's Go whatever, Let's Go, and that's going to be the old style of game, and then we're going to get a new style game as well on top of that.
Well, I don't think they'll veer too much from the formula that they've got, but I do think that the 2 new games are going to be Gen 8, and then the one game is either going to be an open world Pokemon game that is completely different, or it is going to be a Coliseum type game. Or it could even be like a Pokemon dungeon type game.
Those dungeon games are alright, like Mystery
we'll
Team Red and Mystery Team Blue and things like that. That was not a bad Pokemon game.
I'm open to a variety of genre of Pokemon games coming to the Nintendo Switch in 3D. I think they've definitely got a big enough cast and brand to be able to take that game in different, like the franchise in different places game wise. And, you know, they have done stuff before, but I don't think they're going to veer from the formula for the, like, main games.
Yeah.
I feel like they will update it, and I feel like Let's Go was, like, to get a little bit of feedback on what the fans wanted from that.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's in development for next year, it's way too far down the line now to change all that stuff.
No, of course.
They can make changes accordingly based on feedback. So I will just have to wait and see. There's no date announced for this Nintendo Directs, but we'll just have to see what comes of it.
Yeah, we will. We'll have to definitely see. Yeah, that's really it for the gaming block of the show. So we're gonna swiftly move on to films and TV and we can say it's anime as well. We've got a couple of anime things to talk about in this. First off, we're gonna start off. I know already we're trash. Like, we still haven't watched the finale of Westworld yet. I don't know. Have you, Tom? No, you haven't.
I'll say yeah. Nah, I haven't. I've been watching Castle Rock.
Oh, okay. Well, none of us have really watched the finale. I'm not really gonna like read too much of this article, but because it's got some heavy spoilers. Apparently season 3 is going to be another radical shift. It seems like a theme is starting to occur now, where Westworld is trying to change the dynamic of the show every season rather than giving off the same type of thing. Whereas in season 2, this didn't work out at the beginning for me personally. I thought like it was too much of a departure of season 1. But really, really picked up and got into its own in the middle of the season. I felt like things started to click together, and it felt a lot more like Westworld once again, and less of like, well, it is Westworld, but it's more of like, you know, the destruction of Westworld. Do you know, if you know what I mean? Like, so season 3 was supposed to be very different. I don't know. Are you happy about this, Tom? Did you want to see more of the same? Did you want it to go back to season 1? Like the style of that? How are you feeling about this?
I feel like it's what needs to be done for the show. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can't keep the same. Like, season 1 was an introduction, and they could do things with that season that they couldn't do anywhere else.
Yeah.
Season 2 sort of had the same aspects going forward. Like, it didn't start out that way, but then it, like, you know, but it introduced you in a weird way, and it kept you interested in certain ways because it slowly built up, but then you get to see a bigger picture. I feel like I think they want this to go on for 5 to 7 seasons or something.
Yeah, they did. This is HBO's new Game of Thrones for now.
Yeah. But they don't want it to get repetitive, and I don't think the show could get repetitive. Like, I feel like if it did get repetitive, it would just be way too confusing.
Well, I feel like definitely for sure, like, we're going to get to a point where we're going to actually see the hosts get into the real world, which I think was kind of like, that's what it was going towards anyway. So we're going to definitely see the hosts integrate into the real world, and that could pose a big problem, and that could be a great final season if we get to that point.
Yeah, it switches up the whole concept of the show entirely.
Yeah, because
like going from inside the park to outside the park, because the human interaction is limited, but when you go outside to try and blend it, like it is different. It would definitely be a different take. But saying that, I do like the fact that they're trying to do each season different. I feel like they're sort of expanding out how big the world is inside the park alone.
Yeah,
to start with.
Yeah, we're starting to see that there's I think there's apparently supposed to be 6 parks, like separate ones. Apparently, we don't know. We've seen 2 additional parks so far, in this like season alone. So that means there's 3 more that we still haven't seen, and that's even if that might just be one. That might just be one type of Westworld like area. Like they could have several all over the world. We know this one's based in China, but like who's not to say that there's other like types of, you know, areas that just have parks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because as we've learned, Delos as a company is very, very, very big, and they are working on some very big things in terms of, well, a lot of time has passed. They're trying to make immortality become a thing. So
there's a whole concept of hosts being based on people and things like that.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see a plot at some point in the future, maybe season 4, season 5, where they get out the park and visit another park to try and free someone, and then realize that you know, like everyone there is exactly the same as them in their characters from their park or something like that. Yeah,
well, we seen that, didn't we? Like we seen where the narrative writer, who turns out to be like, I don't know because I haven't watched season finale yet. He turns out to be on the side of the host and starts to realize what's happened there is wrong. But, you know, not everybody knows the true purpose of the hosts and what they're supposed to be for. They thought it was just entertainment. He thought he was just writing a narrative. Turns out that he's written the same character, like, group over and over in several different parks. And he just starts to show the cracks in something that in season 1 we thought was such an intelligent, lifelike world. It's starting to show that these hosts are not as intelligent, and you got to think to yourself that they are just programmed to do certain things. So it kind of knocks it down. Whereas we thought there were such superior, intelligent like beings at season 1, but in season 2 we start to see the cracks and foundations, and they have just the same like. The more sentient that they got, the more same of the gripes that humans have and they deal with, like, and it started to show that, you know, it doesn't matter, like, you know, how it can be. You can tell that, you know, everyone always has like the traits of a human. Like, more sentient you get, the more intelligent you get, you're going to start to have the same plot flaws as being a real life human as well. And the hosts have to start dealing with certain issues that they never had to deal with because they were never programmed to deal with them before. So yeah, it was really interesting. Definitely really interesting to see that all play out. So yeah. So yeah, that's about it really. One Punch Man season 2 trailer.
Yeah, I haven't watched season 1 yet.
Tom, you're big trash. Yeah, this is just like, I'm just saying because I feel like we don't really talk about anime that much. One Punch Man season 2 trailer premiering April 2019. If anyone's interested, it's a great anime. Go and watch it. Read the manga. Read the web comic as well, which is a dying art in itself. Attack on Titan season 3 has begun. Boku no Hero.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just want to point out, One Punch Man is available on Netflix as well, like right now.
Yeah, it's available on Netflix as well. So that's even more the reason if you want to support anime legally, you know. Boku no Hero Academia is really heating up right now. That's becoming one of my favorite animes of all time. It's very fire. Everyone should go and check that out, especially if you liked Naruto. This is definitely the new age Naruto. And I finished a great anime. Tom, you would really like this one if you ever get the time to watch it, because I know what you're like with anime. It's called Monster. It's not a supernatural anime. It's a very much a real life one, based on a doctor who saves the life of a young boy. If he let the young boy die, basically this whole anime, he by saving this boy, he sets off events that are so terrible and horrifying that he should have just left the boy to die. So I'd leave it at that. Definitely go and watch it. Great storytelling. Animation is superb. It's a very old anime. It's from 2004. Production is great on it. Music is great. Storytelling, characters, all of that stuff. Definitely go watch that. I am looking for new anime to watch. So please interact with us. Message us. Give us some suggestions. We want to know what you're watching. Want to know what you want to recommend. Stuff like that.
I can tell you what I've been watching lately. I've been rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh from the start.
Wait, you've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, from the start.
Yu-Gi-Oh! This shit was fire, man. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I might watch Yu-Gi-Oh from the start. Was you watching the American version or like Japanese version?
No, it's just dubbed.
Dubbed. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just it was on Netflix, so it's pretty accessible. To be honest, should watch One Punch Man, but it's, you know what it's like with anime. Once you start watching one thing, you're invested in that, even if you've seen it before. You just want to watch it again.
Yeah, exactly. That's like
and then you can't veer off too much.
That's like Beyblade. That's like watching Beyblade again, like a couple years ago. And
yeah, I did that a couple years ago.
Actually, we was both watching Beyblade, wasn't we? Yeah, I got too invested in Beyblade again. I was like, I gotta stop watching Beyblade. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it, really, anime wise. What else are you watching, Tom? Let's just talk about what we're watching right now.
I'm watching Castle Rock. New episode came out.
Still need to watch that.
I'm
gonna start. Yeah, that.
It's really, really picking up now. The last episode, I won't ruin it, but the way it ended, just you thought that you knew what was going on, then it ended, and you were like, what the fuck,
tough.
That's just asked so many questions that you don't understand, and you have they're really setting it up to be something good, and it is playing into the horror element a lot. I didn't think it was that scary, and then I go back and watch it, and it's got horror elements in it, but I still don't think it's that scary. It's just
is it more chilling?
It's very chilling in the way that it's filmed. It's most psychological horror, and it's very, it's just chilling, and it really makes you think about stuff after you've stopped watching it a little bit more, maybe. It is supernatural, and it doesn't seem that realistic, but the way that it's shot and the events that go on make it think it could be realistic in a way. So I think that's where the psychological element comes in. And it's all about the horror in that, really. If you're a big Stephen King fan, I don't know if you'll really like it, but I definitely recommend trying it. Other things I've been watching, Trailer Park Boys. Started watching that. I must say that's one of the most underrated TV series I've ever watched. It's just, you just put it on and watch it, and it's literally just pure shit, but that's what makes it so good. It's just basically about three guys that live on a trailer park that always go to jail.
Yeah.
And a drunken police officer that runs the park. He's constantly drunk, and his sidekick who doesn't wear a shirt and always walks around shirtless. So it's just a goofy thing to watch, but it's good to put on and just not pay that much attention to, but watch it. But I know that's been on Netflix it started on Showcase, but it's on Netflix as a Netflix original now, and they've done loads of movies on it. But it seems pretty big in America and places like that. But I'd check it out if you just wanted to have a goof or a laugh or something. It's good to watch. And what have you been watching lately?
As I said, I finished watching Monster. It's got about 74 episodes. I've been watching that for past 2 months though. Attack on Titan season 3, that's just got on to episode 4 now. It's very good. Hero. I watched one episode of the new season of Orange is the New Black. I haven't watched any more yet, but I do plan to watch that. I'm going to watch Castle Rock. That's what I'm starting next. And I'm actually going to go back and watch Mr. Robot, because I haven't finished season 3 yet. So those are what I'm watching at the moment. And then a lot of people have been telling me to tackle Game of Thrones, so it might be time.
Yeah, I think before it comes out again, I think you should.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and get to it. If anything, I'm gonna try and like see if anyone's got like a list up, like so I can concisely kind of watch it, because it's a lot of. It's like fucking films every episode. Like, I don't know how I can do that. It's
a lot to watch.
Yeah, it's like Westworld. Westworld's like a film every episode. Like, it's a big watch. You know what I'm saying? And especially it's got like 5 seasons. So hopefully, yeah. Hopefully everything should be alright. Yeah. So that's what I'm watching at the moment. I want to watch. What's the show on Netflix? Disenchantment as well.
Disenchantment.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I keep seeing trailers of it, and it looks alright.
It will be out by the time this airs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's gonna be. It will definitely be out by the time this airs. So that's gonna be really good. Yeah, that's about it really. We got a couple more things to talk about on TV and film, but it's not really that relevant. Actually, no, there's one thing relevant. James Gunn's definitely not coming back, but we knew this already. Disney are not type of people to go back on their word.
Bit of a shame, to be honest, considering that a lot of people that work on the film were like petitioning for him to come back. But I'm not backing him up or anything, but I think, I'm not sure if they're still using his script. They said they are, but I think we'll just have to wait and see like what happens based on that. They have reported that they're going to stand by their original decision to fire him as director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and elected not to rehire him for the film.
Yeah.
Apparently they've had meetings about it, and that even though the Marvel Studios head couldn't attend the meeting, he fully supports the decision. I think it's a bit upsetting for the franchise, especially considering all the actors related to it are supporting him and saying that his work's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney don't want to be associated with that, and that's it's fine with them.
Yeah,
I do just think there's this whole thing about the PC movement and social media at the moment, where people literally just want to get people fired for like no reason.
Well,
and I'm not saying there isn't any reason behind it, but I think it's been made out to be more than what it was. Like, he was known to have done this stuff before Disney hired him.
I was gonna say, I just don't even think that was people's plans to like fire him. They were just like, they just resurfaced these tweets and were like, oh wow, like, look at what he said and things like that. And then Disney was just like, yeah, we're catching way too much like flack on back of this. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is about to like come out soon, and like, well, not come out soon, come out in like the next couple of years, and like, yeah, we just need to get rid of him. It's just how it is. You know what? Disney have been the one as well to make sure their act is clean, because just the fact of like, it's still the family fun friendly brand, even though Disney is embroiled in its own, like, it's had its own controversies, and even go as far as to say as Walt Disney himself had some very, very anti-Semitic views and things like that. Like, it's just the way how like Disney have went round about it, and they could have they could have looked at it in a way, well, we have these type of people hired, and the guy who even exposed James Gunn, quote unquote, he has some really seedy shit on his page that's probably even worse than what James Gunn said, but we're letting him rock for whatever reason. But it's whatever.
That's the thing. I mean, Disney have come out and said that their new streaming service isn't going to be have anything that's over mature rated anyway. I think they're just going to stick to like PG-13 and below.
But that's everything. That's everything. That every film that they do really is PG-13. Nothing gets to a mature at Disney. I can't really think in my head what films is. As obviously, Fox films are going to now be. Maybe some of the films that they have over at Fox are going to be mature. Yeah. But
there's things like if they were to include Deadpool on it, which obviously I don't think they will.
No, they won't. They won't include Deadpool on there, but
I think people were hoping for a more gritty Star Wars TV series, and it doesn't look like it will be coming to the platform. Whether it comes elsewhere, who knows?
But I think they did say they are going to make some mature rated Star Wars content though. Like they said they were going to make like a love drama one, wasn't they? I don't know about that, but I say I don't.
I've already watched Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, don't really know about that, but we'll see. About
if every episode is Anakin and Padme rolling in fields, then I'm not down for that.
We don't know what's going on over there at the moment. Yeah,
but I just like to back up the point I said earlier. And you said as well that people weren't planning for that. I think people, they don't plan for it, but they bring stuff out of the dirt that they don't realize they're bringing up, and it, a joke on Twitter for them that catches lots of stuff, you then may catch the eye of the wrong people or the wrong movement that take that and literally run with it and don't shut up about it until something's done about it.
Yeah.
And, not that it's bad, but I think people take things way too literally and seriously in this day and age with social media, and you can't get across things like sarcasm and satirical humour that well over wording compared to saying it. So I think that's different. That's a difference anyway. But we digress, and we don't need to talk about things like that.
Yeah.
The decision's been made. We can't do anything about that. Neither can anyone else.
Everyone just needs to give it up now. Like it's, when it's like to the point where people are just like, oh, like let's do a petition, let's do all these things. I'm just like, oh, just let's just fucking let it go. It's been done. Let's just stop talking about it now. Like we can't do anything about it. Let's get over it. There's probably going to be a new director. No one's going to give a shit by the time it comes out. Like let's just carry on. If it does come to the point where like people like actors and shit are going to be, actors and things like that are going to be leaving the project, then we can see some potential problems, and maybe Disney will be forced to
Disney won't be forced.
Yeah, they won't. They just find replacements.
It's Disney.
Yeah, they just replace people. They just replace it, and yeah, it's just a whatever.
Disney aren't going to tarnish their brand for one film, and I totally understand that.
No, but
this isn't.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, if they pull out, like say for example, if the actors of the Guardians of the Galaxy pull out, that potentially fucks up the Avengers. That will fuck up a lot of film plots that have them included in it, because they would then have to get new actors and actresses for the entire film, and it's just going to look weird. Do you know what I'm saying? How are we going to relate that back to anything? I'm saying it can prove to be a big problem for Disney if that happened. Do you know what I'm saying? It will be a problem. It's not something and it's something that is very much. I can see it happening because Batista is going hard for James Gunn. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's not that great, but all the actors and actresses from Guardians of the Galaxy signed that open letter to Disney. So imagine if they all just dropped out. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I doubt it, but we'll see. But even if it does happen, Disney won't change their decision because the shareholders are the people that make these decisions. And, you know, even though they'll say other people down below make the decisions, they're the ones that are in control of the money, and they get the most money out of what comes in. They'll force that decision because, they're going to lose money on one franchise or this, but the thing is, they don't tarnish the reputation of the multi-billion-dollar company they have shares in and they're on the board of.
Yeah.
And they still get money based on all the other projects that they've got. So for them, it's like, it's a tiny problem, but obviously to everyone else, it seems like a big problem. But, you know, it's business at the end of the day, and that's unfortunately how it works when people up top make the decisions. It's not ideal, but we can't really change that.
Yeah, it's just... Well, I don't know. Let's just get off this. I feel like we've just spent too much time on this anyway. It just doesn't matter. We can't do anything about it now. You know, that's about it. In other news as well, though, Michael Bay, he's not in the Dora the Explorer movie, so I'm not going to watch it. Nah, I'm joking. We're moving on to music.
I'm not watching that movie anyway.
No, nobody's watching the Dora the Explorer movie, and if you are, I think they need to get you out of here, just like James Gunn. I shouldn't be joking about things like that. Not at all. Music.
I mean, I did.
Say again.
Totally fine to joke about someone getting fired.
Well, exactly. Well, it's just in the terms that, you know, we're all going over it again. Doesn't matter. We're on some much more positive news now. This is music. Music's always positive these days. I like music. We've got some new album releases. I'm just going to run down them. Tom, if I missed any out, fill them in. 1.5 by Amine. I've actually spelled his name as anime. Well, yeah. I don't even know if that's the right spelling, yeah. And then 1.5 by Amine. The album is really, really, really... It's ridiculously good. I didn't expect him to come out with a project like this.
It's good. It's different from his first one. It's not that I don't like it. It's just different.
It is different, but
it's also very short.
That's why he called it 1.5, because it's just a project in it. It's not number 2. It's not his official second album. So I'm glad that he's come out with something, and I think it's a very cool little project. It's fresh. It sounds cool. I see where he's took the influences from different sounds, like Carti, Gunna, Lil Baby, you know, all those kind of guys there.
If you do want to listen to Ratchet Saturn Girl, because that's a good song.
The ending on that is definitely that. And I think there's one song called like Rack It Up. Beat on that is like is tough. No, really in. Sounds like it sounds like Yes Indeed, like the beat does. It's very hard. We've got Queen by Nicki Minaj, the 4th studio album by the groundbreaking Nicki Minaj. I'm ready, sis. Tom, are you ready? No?
I think that was my answer.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd be excited if it was Nicki Minaj by Queen. But it's not.
I listened to the album. It's okay. Don't get me wrong. It's an okay album. I just don't think it's the best that Nicki Minaj can do. We've seen her do a lot better than this, and for 4 to 5 years being out the game and not releasing any type of project, not even a mixtape, not even an EP. I can't even tell if she's, you know, firing shots at DJ Khaled on her album. Oh, man, that's just a joke. That whole thing's just that little like that. I think that's a really good song, by the way. That Barbie Dream song it's funny. I think she's socially aware of her on social media and how she can be. And I think that is probably one of the better songs on there, just because she kind of understands that it's a joke. Yeah, that's total satire, and I think that it's a brilliant song, but the rest of the album cohesively is just wow. Like, that Eminem song is fucking terrible. I'm sorry. And nobody's trying to hear...
It's to be expected.
Eminem and Labyrinth on the track. What is this? 09? The fuck is going on, Tom? Tom, what is going on? Labyrinth and Eminem on the same track as Nicki Minaj. What's going on?
Yeah.
Ganja burns. Let's talk about that, shall we?
No, I'm not a big fan of the album.
Oh my god.
It's okay. It's got some decent songs. The song with Wheezy was okay.
Oh yeah, but that was a single though. Yeah, that Rich Tech song is pretty good. The song with Future is whack. That Hard White song is pretty good. I think the Foxy Brown song is cool, but like it just didn't like. I feel like she just put it on there because like, look, it's me. I'm cool with Foxy Brown. I don't hate other female rappers. Like, it's just I don't know. Like, we're gonna get into Nicki Minaj a little bit more anyway. Like, down the topics, because there's a couple of things I've been going on lately that's it's starting to talk about if she's relevant or not anymore. Donnie Womack, Don Toliver, he is signed to Cactus Jack, so he's signed to Travis Scott's label. He had one of the standout features on the Travis Scott song "Can't Say." You know that you can say that smoke ahead. Yeah, that's that kid. He's really good. I like his project. He released a mixtape at the same time as Travis's album came out, which is really good because people are going to start to go to him to be like, I want to hear more of this kid. And the project is a lot more of that portion of the album, which is really cool. Life's a Trip by Trippie Redd. I know you've listened to this, Tom. Tom has featured this one on the playlist this week. I've actually, all of this is on the, a lot of this is on the playlist this week, except for her, Jazz Cartier, and Young Nudie, and Thug is not out yet. What do you think of Life's a Trip?
It's okay. Like, it's not a bad album. I wouldn't call it a classic. Like, it's a solid album.
No, I wouldn't call it a classic. No, let's not go there. It's not a classic.
Yeah, it's just one of those albums you'll listen to, but you probably won't go back to anytime soon. Like, it's not a memorable thing. Some memorable songs, but it's not like a well-rounded project that you could put up and say, like, I'm proud of this. It's really good.
I understand. I feel like Trippie still has...
I feel like that was a bit of a harsh review.
It was a harsh review, but I get what you mean. You're trying to say, you still feel like Trippie has a way to go, like, quite a while, like a way to go in terms of like being a more cohesive artist, I guess. Like, I think he's got massive potential. And
yeah,
talent.
I feel like there's more to come.
Yeah, I feel like he just needs to get to know what his strong points are and what songs work better. Yeah, I understand. An EP by her called I Used to Know Her. She's very talented. That EP is pretty good. It's just a little precursor before the album. Tom put me onto this guy. He's called Ben Khan. He's got a self-titled project called Ben Khan. Very cool. Can't really explain it. You just have to go listen to it. It's like an indie, like kind of like electronic. If you like James Blake, Jai Paul, Frank Ocean, Daniel Caesar, I think you'll dig this guy. Forever by Jazz Cartier. His album came out recently. Quite under the radar. No one really talked about it, but I think it's really good. I've been bumping it. I'm definitely putting a song on there on the new playlist when this comes out. Slimeball 3 by Young Nudie. He's up next. He's got a lot of affiliations with Young Thug, Future, a whole host of people. Pierre Bourne. Young Nudie is definitely one of the new ones coming up next. And by now, when this comes out, Young Thug should have released Slime Language. Very anticipated. Doug is literally on the cusp of superstardom. I don't really know what's taking him so long, and his label, he needs to get off 300 because every time he has a release, it never goes well, in my opinion. So it's supposed to be out when we're recording it right now, but it still is not out. So it should definitely be out by the time this comes out.
I mean, I didn't even know he was releasing an album.
See, there you go. There you go. See what I mean? No promo, no nothing. It's gonna come out. It's got Gunna features on there. It's got Future feature on there. It's it's got Uzi's on there. Like, it's just I'm finding out more information about this from his audio technician than like anybody else, which is just weird because I've happened to follow Young Thug's technician, well, engineer, should I say? Those are the new releases, really. Aphex Twin released like a video that was banned from TV. It's very trippy. It's got a lot of strobe lights in there, so if you're epileptic, please stay away from the video. It's not a great. It's a lot. Travis Scott moved 537,000 units first week, which cements him as a superstar basically now. That's one of the second biggest releases of this year. Something like 270 pure sales, so that's how much people have actually bought the album. He's also curating 2K's music as an executive producer for 2K, and the soundtrack track list is out now, and it's a pretty solid lineup. It's got Brockhampton on there, it's got Travis on there, obviously. It's got Sheckware's Mo Bamba. It's one of the sickest songs at the moment that I keep listening to. That's on the playlist too. Notable, Sheckware's is also signed to Good Music and Travis Scott's label. There's just a lot. There's quite a variety. There's Bishop Nuru. There's King Cruel. There's quite a variety of people on there. Rich Brian, Offset, Higher Brothers. Some of the 808 Rising guys are on there. So yeah, it's it's quite a varied 2K soundtrack, and it should be really cool to play the game and listen to all that cool music. And for our last sort of topic, we was gonna go over best releases of 2018, but we're running out of time, so we're just gonna just talk. Also, Travis Scott has been giving out money on Twitter as well via the Cash app. So if you're in America and you want some money from Travis, send it. Give him a good message of why you need it. Maybe you need help in school, uni, or whatever, or you need help to get off like your career or something. He's giving out money. At least 100 cray is his limit, and he's been giving money out left, right, and center to fans. So that's a really cool thing that he's doing.
The last time I checked, he had 75k left, so he's gave out 25k already.
See, there you go. Also, he's just doing good shit lately. He's paying for the funeral of a fan's mother, by the way, as well. Travis is a good guy. Got one of the best albums this year. 2K, he's having a good time. He's got a daughter. He's with Kylie Jenner. That's probably a low point, but yeah, Travis is doing what he's doing. But before we go into the Nicki thing, breaking news: Aretha Franklin, the soul legend, has died. By the way, she's passed away from a battle with cancer. She died at the age of 76. It's very sad. She brought a lot of classics. Very, very much influential in the music industry for R&B and soul music. Condolences to the family, obviously. It must be a hard time at the moment. And I think it's going to be a hard time for the music industry to deal with Aretha Franklin dying. She's such a legend. I just thought I'd just tell you that. I didn't know if you knew that, Tom, but it happened 10 minutes. Yeah, it happened 10 minutes ago.
It's literally just happened.
Yeah.
No. It's a bit shocking, really.
It is a bit shocking. Yeah.
It's like when MJ died. It's the same. I feel like it's going to have the same impact on music. Because they're both massive figures in the music world,
especially in that area as well. That particular soul R&B area. MJ was very big there, more to R&B and pop. but like Aretha Franklin was like an OG. Like she set the precedent.
Well, queen of soul.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she definitely was. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. But yeah, but moving on from that, we're going into something that we're just going to gloss over a little bit because I feel like we could probably talk about this properly. There's so much things that we want to dedicate like a certain show on. When we get a chance, we are definitely going to do certain topics on certain things for just like an entire like little 30-minute show or whatever. Nicki Minaj is only projected to move about 155,000 first week sales. Now, this is coming from someone who comes from what everyone calls the big three over at Young Money, Cash Money. That was Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake. Drake is say again?
I said what?
They were big three. They were. Nicki, were. Well, Drake is still one of the biggest. Like he nearly moved 1 million like a first week. Lil Wayne could drop an album tomorrow and still move mad units, probably about 500. Like
yeah, I never would have classed Nicki as like big.
She was though because she used to her last album.
She was big.
I say her last album pushed. I'm talking in terms as well. Remember, think about it. She was the only notable female rapper for years. There was nobody else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for her to move that amount of album sales for a female rapper at that time, it just wasn't seen before. Like, nobody was moving that much. Unless you was Lil' Kim back in the day and Lauryn Hill, you wasn't doing numbers like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So she was classed as one of the one of the bigger acts in the music industry at the time. Not the big three overall. The big three overall is still Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole to me. Like, those are the big three right now in rap music because they still move the most amount of units. Their fan bases are still so loyal to just them. They all have their own lane. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but like Nicki used to move quite a few units and yeah, she's basically trying to beat Travis Scott's second week sales. And if you was going to tell me 5 years ago that Travis Scott's second week sales were going to beat Nicki's first week sales, I probably would have laughed and said, you got to be kidding me. It's Nicki Minaj, for God's sake. She has fans everywhere. There's no way she's going to get beat by Travis Scott's second week sales. Like, that man's probably only going to move like 100K. Well, it looks like he's going to move a lot more than that. So we're seeing Nicki Minaj doing a lot of shit to try and get themselves up. Like, she's selling a poster for $5, which is bundled with the album and the digital download or something crazy like that. So that counts as an album sale.
So basically she's trying to cheat album sales in a way.
Yeah, but we're not just going to get on Nicki because Travis Scott has also been doing things as well in order to get his sales up. He's been selling.
Yeah, I know he's been selling it with merch.
Yeah, he's been selling merch with the album. He's also been selling the album with little trinkets and things, and you could buy the album to get ticket access, and you buy a ticket to the concert or the Astro World Festival or whatever, like, and you get an album with it with each ticket. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's weird.
I mean, I said cheating album sales, but if you think more about it, I do think it's like the new way to actually get like albums sold because of streaming and everything. Anyway, like, you sort of have to give the album away with stuff now, for people to own a physical copy in a way, or a digital copy of it without streaming it.
Yeah.
You know, you sell a hoodie for £60 and have a free album with it. You know, that hoodie might cost them like £10 to make on the album. So they still make profit, and they're not giving the album away for just free. They're just cutting their profit down a little bit. But you know, if it works for stuff like that, then I think it's going to be a thing that keeps up with the music anyway. I also don't mind it. Like if I'm going to buy some merch, if I'm that invested, then I'm probably going to buy the album anyway. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
It does. It does, but just, you know, I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know, how the music industry is going. You know, at this point, like we're literally like, I just would have never thought that Nicki Minaj would be trying to literally, you know, sell virtually anything. Do you know what I'm saying? In order to,
there's not. I mean, to be honest, like, my personal opinion, I've never been a massive Nicki Minaj fan anyway.
No.
But over the last few years, like, she has gone off radar, and then she's been doing some stuff that, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing in that position, like bringing unneeded attention to yourself. And it may have been like a publicity, like a PR stunt to get more publicity for her album. Doesn't seem to have worked though. And, you know, with the current climate of people jumping on bandwagons and getting annoyed by things like that because of social media, which wasn't as big when she was releasing things before.
This is the exact same conversation I had with Jodie. I had a conversation because obviously she's a Nicki Minaj fan in it. Well, was like a big one. So we was talking about this, and we were saying how I don't think she can adapt to the social media era. Like, this is why Cardi B does so well, because she's from that era. Do you know what I mean? Like the thing with Nicki is she's too outspoken. Yeah, her team needs to, like, they need to take her phone away.
Someone needs to reel her in a little bit.
Yeah. But I think that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking her and her team thought, wait, we need to do social media antics, because that's how Cardi B got to the place where she got. She was doing social media antics first and then had the music career. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're probably thinking, oh, couldn't we just do the same?
But yeah, it's not how it works though. Like, if you're already at that position, you don't need to do that. You just need good marketing behind you.
Yeah.
It's not as if she doesn't have the budget to market either. Like, I know the album's been marketed quite highly anyway, I think. But it's just obviously not performed. Like,
yeah.
It does look like people have moved on from her, to be honest. Like, I don't know, if she's been gone for 4 or 5 years, like, that fan base that she had back then, when realistically she was more poppy and had, like, tweens in that area.
Yeah.
Tweens and teens were, like, her major fan base. They've grown up now, and maybe they're not interested in that anymore. Or maybe, you know, maybe they've unfollowed her because she wasn't active that much.
Yeah, exactly. I can't really grasp what the problem is, but there's a disconnect somewhere. So,
there's also the fact that she has been gone for a long time without releasing anything major. You know, she released that thing with 69, whatever, but that's not like. But the thing is, like, she's been gone for a long time, and people have took the position that she used to have. You know, Cardi's coming.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen other people going into the area. She's not the only female rapper anymore, or she's not like the
only dominant one, basically.
The dominant one, yeah. There's people giving her good competition, and she's, you know, if she's not basically putting in work and try to be consistent across the board, sort of music wise and social media wise. Like, you could see when she's doing tracks with people that realistically she's better to do. She's like, she doesn't have to do a track with them. That's when you know, like, she's getting a bit desperate. So maybe number one, she needs to change her management team, or maybe she needs control on social media, or maybe like she just needs to, you know, not take as much time off, but sit back and reflect and, you know, do some experimenting with different people. Like, go and find another producer, go and work with some different people, different artists, see what you can do. I don't know, maybe try and work together with the people that are in the position you were in to try and create something good and gain that position back, like gain your status back.
Yeah, I understand. It's just,
you know, if her and Cardi B do like a double album together, like that could put her back on the map.
That's what I said. I said that, you know, I said something about, yeah, what if they get a collab album together? That would end a lot of beef, and that would probably be one of the biggest releases of this year, if a Nicki and Cardi album. But it's just not going to happen. She was doing shots at Cardi on the album again.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen. It's just not. I hope the best for Nicki. I hope she gets off whatever drug she's on, because she's obviously on she's on something. So let's just hope she cleans her act up, you know. So yeah, that's it really. Episode 13. We was gonna go through best releases, but I think we're gonna try and do that next episode, so we can actually write a proper list and think about it. Best releases of 2018 so far. Tom, got any closing statements? Anything else to say?
Not really. Just one thing, that someone should take Nicki Minaj's phone off her if she wants her career to actually, like, I don't know, have any longevity.
Yeah, I agree. Someone should definitely take her phone away, because it's just not a good look at the moment. It just really isn't. And on that note, episode 13 wrapped up. A little bit of a somber note, but, you know, we're really trying to talk to Nicki Minaj. We're not trying to bash her, because obviously we want people to do well. Like, no one wants to be faded into irrelevance. Like, it's just sad, but like, she's fucking it up for herself, and the album isn't strong enough for you to be like, let the work speak for itself. Like, no, it's not going to cut it. You can't let the work speak for itself when the album is just average at best. So yeah, you know, I'll just leave it there, innit, you know. But yeah, episode 13, guys. 808s and Joysticks, still going strong. The numbers keep going up every episode we release, and we,
unlike Nicki.
Say again.
What?
What you said? What? Oh yeah, nothing. She's got that radio show as well on Apple Music, like, where she
just throwing some shots out there.
She's got that radio show on Apple as well, where she just keeps going on there and just talking shit about people, which is pretty good for her because it gives her an outlet. But I don't know. I just don't know. She
depends if people want that.
She bashed podcasts in the past, and now she's basically doing one. So. Okay, Nicki. Yeah, thank you as always for the overwhelming support. Do you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we couldn't do anything without anybody supporting us. We try and work as hard. Tom has been working very hard on the social media. It's got to give it up to him. I've been doing a lot of personal life stuff, and, you know, I'm trying to get back in the groove now, and yeah, we're trying to hold it down. As I said, we always have something exciting that we're trying to work on and work towards, and yeah, that's all we're just trying to focus on now. You know, listen to us on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, Spreaker, damn near everything except for SoundCloud, because they ain't fucking with us like that. We also was broadcasted live on Dash Radio Tuesdays at 2 p.m. And Thursdays at 3 a.m. Tom?
Tuesdays 2 p.m. British Standard Time.
And
it's 1 p.m. British Standard
1
Time.
1 p.m. British Standard Time and 3 a.m. British Standard Time on Thursdays. Tuesdays is the rerun. Thursdays is the new episode. So
Thursdays also at 7 p.m. Pacific
time if you are over in the US listening to that. And of course, if you're in the other countries, just apply that time to your country and you could figure out when you want to listen to it. But also you can listen to it on the go, on demand. All of those places have it, run everything. Type in 808s and Joysticks, you will find us.
Yeah. So I think we'll leave it there. As you said, episode 13, social medias are all on our website in this episode anyway. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please check the credits in the description to see what songs we used.